Hello guys, this is Caesar from Day Trade Today. So today I wanted to touch on a pattern that I personally love to play called the buy setup.
Shut up and sit down.
I'm going to go over what a buy setup is and what criteria I am looking for. So to start off, what a buy setup is basically you're buying the pullback on the uptrending stock, and that's key right there. The stock has to be in the uptrend in order for you to buy a pullback, right? You don't want to buy a pullback on the sideways stock or a downtrending stock, because chances are it's going to stop you out or you're going to lose money. So that's number one. As far as criteria go, there are three that I like to see. Number one being that you want to see the stock pull back to a previous support, right? And I would say that's the most important one. You want to see the stock pull back to previous support, because what that will do is that support will act as like a trampoline or a floor where buyers come in and they just push the stock higher, right? So that's number one. Number two, you want to see a nice sequential pullback, just like this right here. You want to see a nice pullback, no crazy overlap, nothing crazy, right? Just nice pullback, smooth pullback, just like this one as well, right? So that's number two. Number three is not a must, but I love to see it, which is basically you want to see some kind of wick once it pulls back to that previous support. So you can see an example here, right? Once it pulled back to this previous support, we got some kind of wick. Same here, we got some kind of wick when it pulled back to this previous support. And what that wick is telling you is that there are buyers stepping up, right? And that's what you want to see. You want to see buyers stepping up because, these buyers are going to push a stock up for you. So you want to join them, right? So with that being said, I'm going to give you a visual representation of how I play it and what I am looking for, right, with this stock called Blue. And so basically Blue gapped down for whatever reason, I'm guessing bad earnings or whatnot. And it found pretty strong support right here at 17-14 area. You can see it tapped it once, 2 times, 3 times. So you can say this is pretty strong support. And if you also notice, it struggled to break over this area right here multiple times. So you can say this is resistance, right? And before I move on, one concept that I want you to keep in mind is that resistance once broken becomes support, and support once broken becomes resistance, right? So like the floor becomes a ceiling and the ceiling becomes the floor. So this ceiling, once the stock broke it and it came back down, this same ceiling is now going to act as a floor where the stock can bounce off of, right? And you can see we created a new resistance as well. So you can draw a line there if you like to. I personally like to do. And so this will be our first buy setup pattern, right? Because this is pulling back right into support. So this is our first criteria. It's pulling back right into support. So now you can start looking for, the next two criteria, right? Which is the wick and smooth pullback, right? So you can see we got a smooth pullback. We got the wick. And the way I take an entry is I always take an entry over the high of the candle to touch the support. So you can see this support right here touch the wick. The support. And so as soon as this high is broken, I take an entry on the next candle, right? So you can see this candle broke the high of this candle, and this is where your entry would be. And I always place my stop loss right at the previous support where it held. So you can see it held it right here 2 times. This will be my stop loss, my entry here, and you can see we got a pretty good start, pretty good start. And now you can see we found a new resistance because this is where the stock basically rejected and came back down. And now you can see that we pull back one more time, and look where we pull back to. We pull back to this previous resistance, which will now act as support. So now this will be our second buy setup pattern, right? And we see the wick, that's number one criteria. Smooth pullback, number 2. And that's pulling back to support, number 3. So now we have all 3. So now it's the same concept as earlier. You take an entry as soon as the high of this candle is broken, and you put your stop loss right below. And boom, this trade got a pretty good start. And if maybe in the future it pulls back to this previous support and continues this trend, right? Who knows? But just an example of what could happen, right? So this is pretty much the pullback pattern, the buy setup pattern that I personally love to play. I think the risk to reward is very, very favorable, right? Because you're basically buying at the very bottom, and then you're selling at the very top where everybody else is coming in, right? So you're selling basically into people. With that being said, hope Hope you guys learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in Day Trader Day group. I'm always active. Hit me up on the side, or you can reach out to me on my Instagram page at Caesar Investing, right? CESAR Investing, and just message me, DM me, and I'll help you with any questions you may have. Thanks, guys.